Well, I've brought you to a new place. This is our church, and I've brought you here to show you some of the most beautiful plantain that grows here in the churchyard. And most people would never notice this plant. It just looks like a weed, but it is a gorgeous little spot of plantain. Let me show you. I'm just going to lower the camera down and show you all of this greenery along here. This is almost all of that is plantain. All the bigger stuff is plantain. So I'm going to pick a little bit of it and show you what it looks like so you can see. I'll be right back. This is a gorgeous leaf that I've been eyeing now for weeks. See how beautiful bright green it is? You really want to pick it early when it's young. This is late in the season because this is December. I know this is crazy. This is December in the South, folks. This is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It feels like fall. But this is a nice large leaf. Look how long it is. It's almost as long, 3/4 of my hand, the length of my hand. So I'm going to be picking some plantain and I'll show you what I collect. I brought just a little bag because this is what I'm going to use to infuse in some oil so I can make my next batch of healing herb ointment. I am looking for the larger leaves because you have to clean each leaf gently, and if you get itty bitty leaves, boy, it takes forever. If you get bigger leaves, it doesn't take as long. I also want to mention that you'll find plantain usually growing in damp soil, in shady areas. This is a really damp area because we're so near the coast, so we have really good plantain. If you find a shady area, if you live up north, I don't know how well it grows there, but down in the south, we have a lot of plantain. So that was just a few seconds. Got some nice, lovely greenery. Now this is broadleaf plantain as opposed to the narrow leaf, and I have some narrow leaf at home. Thanks for joining me for this little plantain adventure. I'm gonna go pick some more. Well, for those of you who live far away in very cold places, this is my forsythia bush, and you can see it's developing its fall foliage, turning purple and yellow and all that kind of stuff. There's also some green vine in there, which oughtn't be there. But I want you to see this, because my forsythia bush is blooming on, what is this, December 14th? Now this is not, I don't guess this is its real bloom. It's never lost all of its leaves yet. This is such crazy weather, and that's not the only bloom. Here's one over here. Oh, there's one right there. There was another one down here. There's quite a few. There's probably a dozen blooms on this bush. So goodness, poor thing. I think it's rather confused. But that is what it's like in the South in December. Not in January and February, but in December, it really just looks like fall. Sounds like fall. Feels like fall. Well, I'm back with you. I picked that plantain at the church on a lovely warm day, and then I showed you an even warmer time a little bit ago when my forsythia bush was blooming. That was only a few hours ago, and then the wind blew in this afternoon and the temperature dropped in a matter of couple of hours. It probably got 20 degrees, and it's just really cold out there. It's supposed to be about 30 tonight, so it's going to freeze, which means that I'm going to lose a lot of my plants that I pick for my healing herb ointment. So I picked, now I want you to look at these. I picked this plantain 2 days ago, and it's really starting to dry up a little bit and get kind of fragile, but I think it'll be fine. I'm wiping the leaves down, and I've gotten quite a few. I'm not going to make a big batch. I'm just going to make 1 quart jar of oils. But I hate to waste this plantain because, like I said, we're fixing to have a freeze. And this will be the last plantain I will get probably till sometime, late spring or summer. So it could be May or June. Some of these leaves are looking a little sad. I don't think it's because they're 2 days old. I think it's just because it's late in the season. But I'm going to wipe down a few more. And then I went out in the cold in my coat and my gloves and my boots, and I picked in my yard. I don't have any plantain in my yard right now, but I did pick some really nice yarrow. I got quite a good bit of that. This is easy to pick, and it really is very clean on its own. I hardly ever find any dirt or anything in there. And then I got some little bitty dandelion. I don't know if you know, but the name dandelion really comes from French. I think it's dent de lion, which means the teeth or the tooth of the lion. So you can see these sharp teeth. So if you're looking for dandelion, make sure it has these sharp, jagged edges. And then I had a couple of really big ones. So there's all kinds of varieties of dandelion and plants that are related to the dandelion. So I'll be cleaning all this up, and then I'll be soaking this. I really need to get these herbs into the oils, and then they can infuse for several days if I need them to, but I need to get it into the oils, and we will make our last batch of healing herb ointment. And the reason I have to make this is because I've got one more week at the market before my winter break, and I'm down to only 3 jars. I sold out at the market on Saturday and had people asking for it, and I didn't have any more, so I need to make one last batch. Thanks for joining me and listening to me gab away. We'll get back to you about that healing herb ointment. Before I go, I wanted to show you, this is what I used to go gather my yarrow and dandelion this afternoon in the cold yard. This is a bag that I made. Oh my goodness, see how big it is? I made this years ago. When I first started getting back into crocheting, that was the first thing I got back into, was crocheting. After teaching for so many years, I started making these bags because I wanted shopping. I thought I wanted shopping bags. I was tired of plastic bags and paper bags, and I was going to take this to the store. And I made several of these. I'll have to enclose maybe pictures, but I still love them. I never could give them away. I don't use them very often. This has a nice shoulder strap, but it really is just the perfect thing for gathering herbs and such outside. Oh, there's another piece of yarrow. So I wanted to share that with you. I don't crochet anymore, but that was the first thing I got back into because I found crocheting to be the easiest thing to do of all of the yarn crafts. Anyway, and I mentioned about selling out of healing herb ointment. I took 6 tubs to the market, and I had 3 in reserve at home that I should have taken with me, and that's what I have left now, and that's why I'm making more. But I'm also almost out of soap. I probably have a dozen bars of soap left, which is just appalling. But I do only have 1 week left at the market, and so I'm not too worried about it. I need to make a couple of batches in January. I feel terrible going to the last Christmas market before Christmas. Lots of customers there, and I don't have much selection. But at the same time, I don't want to have, 50 or 75 bars of soap left over all through the winter. I'm also a little bit low on bee balm. I probably have 8 tubs of that. I have 1 shampoo bar left. I made a batch, and those shampoo bars they sell so fast. They go flying off my table, and when people come to get one, they don't get 1, they get 3 or 4 because they want to make sure they have plenty and they want to give some to their brother or something. So I'm really low on inventory, and I sold 28 hand-painted cards on Saturday. That was $140 of cards, which was just shocking. People loved buying them as gifts, and they would come and buy 5 or 6 at a time. And so this week I have to paint all week long, at least 5 cards a day, in order to make up what was sold, so I can have a good selection this week. So all week long I'm going to be working hard to get my inventory back up to at least acceptable for the last farmer's market on Saturday before Christmas. Well, this is the wrap up of the healing herb ointment session. Now, I've shown you this recipe before and it was quite detailed, so I'm not going to take you through every little step. And if I could ever figure out how to get those little things up there in the top of the screen to show you another video, I'll stick that up there and you can go back and watch the first healing herb ointment video. But I want to show you what I'm doing right now. I'll tilt this down. Here's my healing herb ointment back here. Now I have already infused the greenery into the oils and strained that out in just a little mesh strainer. And then this time what I did was I poured the oil, the infused oil, back into this quart jar. This is actually a tall Smucker's peanut butter jar. I think it's actually 24 ounces. But that's 24 ounces of peanut butter, not 24 ounces of liquid. So I'm not sure about that comparison. But I've also put it back into a hot water bath, and I've put the beeswax in there. And so this one has melted down, and I'm going to take it out of there and put the other one in so it can melt. Everything else in this recipe is already a liquid or melts really quickly. And so I don't really need to have it in a hot water bath to do that. And what I'm going to do is take all this oil and pour it back into a Pyrex, and from there pour it into my tubs that I sell from. Get done. Is there anything else I wanted to show you in here? Oh yes, there was something. The other pot back here, you see that? It's not even hot. This is a big old pot of stewed apricots. Adam bought apricots at the store and he has cooked them down. Oh my goodness, they smelled so good. I ate a couple straight from the pot yesterday. But those are for making one of our favorite things, kolache. And I just realized I have a problem. I finally stirred up my healing herb ointment, the first jar of it, the first quart jar, and then I went to go get my tubs, and before I even walked in there I was like, wait, do I have tubs? Do I have enough tubs? Have I ordered tubs? Do I have any tubs? And I have 3 tubs, 3 empty tubs is all I've got. So I'll fill these and I'll take them to the market. That'll give me 6. And you know what'll happen? I won't sell a single one. That's what always happens. So what I'll have to do is take the finished healing herb ointment, put it into these glass jars that I make it in, and hold on to it until I get some more of these tubs. Then I'll reheat it and gently. That's why I don't use a microwave. So I use a double boiler. I'm real gentle with it. And it'll be fine because of the beeswax. But if you want to know why I'm no good at my business, it's because of stuff like this. Good morning, my friends. It's been one of those mornings. Do you ever have days when not everything goes wrong, but more things than usual go wrong for you, and you're like, I think I need to go back to bed? Well, this morning I was trying to, what was I doing? Oh, I was making eggs, and I was trying to grind this pepper grinder. It's a store-bought pepper grinder, a plastic one, and I had struggled with this pepper grinder before. It's hard to grind, and my thumbs hurt, which is why I wear these gloves. These are compression gloves for arthritis. I love these gloves. They're great little fingerless gloves because they're not heavy and bulky in the wintertime, but they also give you a little bit of light compression. I'm not sure how much compression they give me because my fingers are little, kind of, but I really like them anyway. So I'm struggling with the pepper grinder, and then all of a sudden, a pepper grinder that I've never been able to open up and take whole peppercorns from before, just like comes apart in my hand, and whole peppercorns go all over my scrambled eggs, all over the counter, all over the stove, into everything, into the dog water on the floor. They're all underfoot. I mean, there's hundreds. Literally, it's a big pepper grinder. So I was like, oh, you just want to throw it across the room, but really you don't want to touch it anymore. So I finished my breakfast, scraped the peppercorns out of my eggs. Anyway, oh, then a continuing story of the peppercorns. I finally went back to the kitchen a couple hours later. At least it feels like a couple of hours. And I was getting the peppercorns out of the dog water. Okay, so I decided, I'm not going to pick them out. I'm just going to take the dog water out on the back deck and dump it in the yard and start over. Okay, because sometimes you think, if I start over on days like that, maybe things won't be so bad anymore. We'll get a fresh go. So I brought the bowl back in, put it on the floor, and got a big plastic cup that we use to refill the dog water. Put a whole cup in there, but usually I like to put another half cup because a whole cup is not much, and Tricky's a thirsty dog. And so I got another half cup, walked over there, and I don't know how it happened, but I tipped the cup over, and it just like left my hand and fell all over the floor, and there's water all over the floor, and the cup fell on the floor too, of course. And I just looked at that and thought, I'm done. I'm just done. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle of making a pot of tea. So the woman who can't hold a plastic cup of water is supposed to carry all of this into my studio without breaking anything. I love this china. I got this at the thrift store. Isn't that just elegant? Look at that. I mean, like, that probably cost $0.25 or something. There was one cup left and a bunch of saucers and a couple plates, which we've already broken 2 of those. I got this at the same thrift store. I thought they had a bunch of this silver. Actually, it's got tea leaves on it. Of course it would. But this was all tarnished and kind of black and brown and purple, and I polished it up. It says Holmes and Edwards inlaid. This is that really good silver plate, though. Really high quality silver plate. And so I polished all this up. I only got spoons because that's what we needed. I don't have enough drawer space for everything they were selling. Anyway, so will I get through the day without breaking something else? If I keep doing this, I'm going to break the camera. I tell you, it's bad. Look at this cup. See how badly I washed that last time? You can still see the tea right in the bottom. That's our lives here at Red Robin Farm. Oh, but look back there. See over my shoulder? My Christmas cactus is blooming some more. Isn't it nice? Okay, so this morning I tended to my chickens. It's cold outside. Not snowing, of course. This is North Carolina on the coast. But I've taken care of chickens and given them some straw in their coop. I surprised Brownie. She was trying to lay an egg. I was going to put some straw into her laying box, and I reached over there and she looked at me like, "What do you think you're doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I tell you, when you surprise a hen in her laying box, you apologize to the hen the same way that you apologize to the door of a public restroom at a rest area when you push on it and it gives a little, but there's somebody in there and they push back and you go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." That kind of like, "Oh, I've invaded your personal space while you're doing something private that we're not talking about." That's exactly how you treat a hen when she's laying an egg. It's hilarious. Anyway, put some straw on the hen. So now I'm going to paint because I've been telling myself I must paint, I must paint, I must paint. The healing herb ointment is on the stove, heating up in a water bath, in a double boiler. And I'll tend to that later today. But let me show you. We will try to pour a cup of tea. Thanks for coming with me on this adventurous journey today. Oh, you know what? I should show you my little teapot. This is my favorite teapot. I have like a small collection of teapots. But this is my favorite. This is kind of an ugly cozy I made for it, but it works. I got this at the same thrift store. We really have an amazing thrift store, I will say. This was made from Hues and Brews, Hues, and then a big N, and Brews. It's right there on that little thumb press. Adam had to reattach the thumb press because it came off. He actually screwed it in with some metal screws and all that. But what I like about this, let's see if I think I can do this without burning myself. Boy, I don't know, maybe not today. What I like is it has this wonderful basket inside. And so you can use your loose tea, which is about all that I use is loose tea, and you can put it into the basket, and you can put your sugar straight in there, and you can even stir it right there in the basket. But you don't have to mess with nasty loose tea afterwards, scraping it out of your teapot so you can wash it. All you do is just take the basket out and dump it and thump it out into the trash can. And it's so useful. Plus it's about, I'd say probably 2 cups, maybe 2.5 cups of tea. And honestly, we're not British over here. Who needs more than 2.5 cups of tea at a go? So anyway, there's my cup of tea. Now I'm going to start painting, and if I paint anything today worth sharing, I will post a picture. Well, I have a cautionary tale to tell. Remember I said I was using glass jars that I'd used for quite a while to put my healing herb ointment inside of a double boiler. So it's inside of a hot water bath, which is sitting over other hot water that's not even on a boil. And I thought that was pretty safe. And I lifted my first glass jar out and processed it and realized I didn't have tubs. Then I went and found some tubs that had some product in them, and I took that out, transferred it to something else, and then I sterilized those jars, sterilized those lids so that I could use them. Thought I was all ready to go. Went to lift my second glass jar of healing herb ointment with all those lovely ingredients in it out of the hot water bath, and as I picked it up, it did this. The bottom broke out of it from too much heat. And I was shocked because, of course, my healing herb ointment came out the bottom and went into the water bath, so it's ruined. Half that batch is just gone. Anyway, but it's my own fault. As Adam said, these jars are not designed for this kind of heat. Although I don't have them straight in boiling water. I'm not doing something terrible to them. Still, they're really not designed for that. This is a peanut butter jar, for goodness sake. So that's my own fault. And I liked them, though, because they're wide mouth jars. But, of course, I have like a dozen wide mouth mason jars that I could use for this purpose. I just haven't done that. So I'll be switching to mason jars from now on because they are designed to take much more heat. They're designed to sit in a direct hot water bath that's boiling. So I think they'll do fine for my purpose. So all that to say, after that, after what I've told you earlier about my day, and it's kind of been a disastrous day, I feel like I should go lie on the couch and not move because I'm afraid if I do, I might break my leg or something. So I'm heading to the market with the healing herb ointment that I have, and it is what it is, as they say. So this was not a successful healing herb ointment day, but we got a little bit done. And I learned a lesson. If you learn a lesson, it's never a waste. Thanks for joining me. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm not going to do anything dangerous. I'm not going to break anything else today. I've decided to start a knitting pattern with some of the yarn that I have been spinning. I've decided I'm going to make a hat. I'm going to be adventurous. I've downloaded a pattern from Ravelry.com, which is a really popular knitting, weaving, crocheting kind of website, and they have free patterns. So I'll show you the yarn. I'm going to use this yarn. It's pink and white. I don't know if you can tell that that's pink. Pink and white. And the hat looks like this. Let me see if it'll... Can you see that hat? Isn't that cute? It's instead of the stripes going from the crown to the front and back, it goes around. And I like that kind of hat. So that's what I'm going to try. And if the pattern works for me, I'll let you know. Thanks.